So in today's video, what I want to talk about is why I couldn't stop overeating and why I just kept binge eating all the time, day after day, week after week, month after month, just absolutely piling the weight on, and I couldn't stop. Now, before I go any further, what I need to tell you is this. I've got an itchy nose. What I need to tell you is this. I'm not an expert, I'm just average Joe. I'm not an expert at anything really. I'm just giving you my experience and my thoughts about what went wrong for me and my eating habits. So, you know, if you want an expert's view, there's plenty of doctors on YouTube that will tell you everything. From a medical side, I'm just telling you from my point of view what happened. So, that being said, let's get into it. I think a lot of the problem starts right from being babies, being a child. We're always taught as a kid, make sure you eat all your veg. Come on, you know, don't leave those Brussels sprouts, that broccoli, that cabbage. I never had a problem with potatoes, but the green stuff, you know, I was always pushed into eating. I never had a problem eating my meat. That always went straight down, not a problem at all. So we were always taught that, you know, you need to eat your veg to grow up big and strong and healthy. And then, you know, not all the time, but especially on a Sunday or something like that, you'd have a sweet after. You'd have ice cream, or you'd have some sticky buns, or, you know, rhubarb and crumble and custard, or something like that. Something really, really sweet after you've had your dinner, just to, you know, fill you up. And really and truly, that's teaching you the wrong story. That's teaching you to eat and eat and eat. You know, all right, I've had enough dinner, but I'll find a little space somewhere down here just for a bit of, you know, rhubarb crumble and custard, or a bit of apple pie and custard, or something with cream on, or something like that. And that's where you start off. Even as a kid, you're led down that path by your parents. Now, I'm not saying that your parents hate you and they're trying to make you poorly or anything like that, but that's how they were brought up. That's how, over the last few generations, people have been brought up. You know, eat your meat, 2 veg, 3 veg, whatever it is, and clear your plate. Not eat until you've had enough and then that's it. Just eat and eat and eat until you've cleared your plate. And as a kid, I used to take great pride in clearing my plate. I remember when I was young, I used to get up in the morning, and I don't know if you know what Weetabix are, but in this country it's a breakfast cereal. And even at the age of 6 and 7 years old, I'd have 6 Weetabix with milk and sugar from a breakfast, and I'd have my dinner at school. And then on an evening when I come in from school, I'd have 6 slices of bread and jam for my for my tea. All right, I wasn't eating between meals and things, and I was doing a lot of running around and exercise as a kid, so I was burning a lot of it off. But that started me off down that carbohydrate route, and it's lasted all my life, more or less. It's lasted all my life. And it's something that, you know, it's a chain that I need to break. It's an addiction that I need to break, and I've started to break on this carnivore diet. So even when you become an adult, you're still misled. You're misled by friends and family, but most of all it's by the adverts on the TV. Things like breakfast cereals, you know, full of added vitamins, full of goodness. Confectionaries, you know, one of the adverts I always remember as a kid and growing up was Mars Bar, helps you work, rest and play. No, not really. Breakfast cereals. I used to I used to get up in the morning, one bowl of cereal wasn't enough for me. Two, I had to have two. My supper at night, I decided I needed a bowl full of cereals before I went to bed. And sometimes, once again, I'd have two bowls of cereals. And it was costing me a bloody fortune in milk and cereals. I didn't put sugar on my cereals. I had the frosted ones that were already covered in sugar. And, you know, I'd been led down this path to believe that these things that I was eating were good for me. You go to a restaurant and people are saying, oh, I'm going to be good. I'm going to have a jacket potato and I'll have beans and cheese on it. But a jacket potato is full of carbohydrates, full of sugar. And the amount of sugar in tinned beans is, you know, baked beans is absolutely unreal. A million housewives every day pick up a tin of beans and say, yeah, we're educated, we need to eat this stuff, and we don't. So it's an extremely hard habit to break, and it's a hard lesson you need to learn. Overeating, because that's what we've been taught by friends, family, and the media on television. It's pumping it at us all the time, and it's no good. So we need to get rid of the advertising. You know, people say, oh, the advertising on telly means nothing, but it does. So we need to get rid of this advertising on television. You know, and then you get all the other things that are selling absolute rubbish diet products, you know, calorie restriction, and take this tablet, it burns fat, and this tablet helps you burn more fat, and it's absolute total rubbish, but it's being bombarded at you all the time. It's not just the advertising on the TV and the way you were brought up that's the problem. Sometimes it's peer pressure as well. You know, you go out with some of your friends, you go out for a meal, and it's like, no, you know, I'm just going to take it steady. Oh, come on, we're out, we're having a good time, have some of this, have some of that, have a few beers. And all the time you're pumping those carbohydrates into you. All that sugar that's in the beer and everything else, the cider, the lager, full of sugar. So it's not just education, it's peer pressure as well. You know, the social environment that you actually mix in. And it was only when I started lifting weights that I started to learn a little bit more about nutrition and what I should and shouldn't be eating. But even then, a lot of the time I was being led down the garden path by people that were telling me things that didn't know what they were talking about. You know, you should eat this and you should eat that. If you're bodybuilding, you want plenty of carbs, get some pasta down you, get some jacket potatoes down you for the bodybuilding, you know. And you end up, all right, your muscles are growing, but you're wallowing around like a big, you know, water balloon because you're just full of water and full of carbohydrates. No good at all. You need to learn to think for yourself, and that's the only way that you're going to master and conquer this eating addiction and get rid of your overeating habits. And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. You know, we're like nearly 2 weeks into this carbohydrate depletion, no carbohydrates at all, nearly 2 weeks on the carnivore diet, and things are just getting better and better every day. I'm not overeating, I eat until I'm pleasantly full, and then I stop. And if I want anything else to eat later on in the day, and I'm not eating up until bedtime as well, I'm eating probably about 5 o'clock at night. And if I want something a couple of hours later, I'll have a little bit of something a couple of hours later. And if I'm not hungry and if I don't want anything for the rest of the day, I don't have anything. And I probably won't eat again until about 5 o'clock the next day. So I'm breaking that chain of overeating, breaking that chain of relying on carbohydrates. I'm trying to kick it down the road, you know, to obscurity somewhere where I don't even think about it. And it's working. I'm not obsessing over anything now, whereas I used to be an absolute ice cream fanatic. I could go to McDonald's and have 3 ice creams. I used to have a love affair with 2 men, one called Ben and one called Jerry. And I'd eat all this Ben and Jerry's ice cream and then wonder why I'd got indigestion all night. It's all going, it's all disappearing. Everything is getting better. And as time goes on, because I'm not overeating and I'm not filling myself full of carbs, things are getting better and better, and I hope that's the way it's going to stay. Anyway, if you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe down there somewhere, wherever it is, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye everybody. Hopefully there'll be a little less of me by then. See you soon. Bye.